Hey guys, Rich here, and today we're going to take a look at how to set up Crouton. So if you're unfamiliar with Crouton, it's pretty much your one-stop shop for listing meetings online. Uh, you're looking at it right now. So this is a tabbed interface. Now you can obviously by default it's sorted by day, all meetings on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then of course you can sort it by anything that you want. And so you can sort it by town. That's the ones in Islip. You could just pick a group. You could sort by location, the church that it's located at, or whatever. Um, you could do zip code, formats, and that's actually the reason that I set it up was so people could look up if they want to go to a men's meeting, a closed meeting, an open meeting, a women's meeting, and so on. Every format that's in your service body is on there. So that's Crouton, and it's a pretty powerful tool, and it's pretty customizable. So we're going to take a look at how to set that up. Now, I've set up a subdomain where there's nothing here. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to add the plugin. Now, there are two things that you're going to need to get started with Crouton. One, you're going to need a root server, and you're going to need a Google Maps JavaScript API. Now, we can just search for Crouton, easy enough to find. All right, it's right there in the WordPress dashboard. Install it, and then activate it. That's how easy it is to get Crouton, just like any WordPress plugin. So now that's set up, okay, and that's not set up, it's installed. Now we're going to go into settings. We need a root server. Now this is the root server that we use. And then once it connects to the root server, you're going to be able to look up your service body. And then, of course, we're going to need a Google Maps API, which goes all the way at the bottom down here. And now that we do that, we can save changes. And then we're going to have a whole list of service bodies. All right, so I'm going to pick mine. And then there it is. That's all you need to do for your basic setup. So if I go into, if I create a new page, we can just call it Crouton, and then BMLT tabs. That's a short code you need for the default implementation. So we can open this in a new tab, and that's it, right? That's all the meetings in Suffolk area on a Friday. So now I have a problem because in my area, we actually have several areas that are kind of mixed together. So I need to show more than one area on that meeting list. I need to show meetings from multiple areas. Luckily, we can do that. Now, the first thing we're going to need to do, because by default, we're getting that default service body, right, which is Suffolk area 1001. So I need to look up another area, Heart of Long Island 1067. So if I want to show both of those, I can. And what I want you to look at, if we go down, this is the part that you really want to familiarize yourself with in the Crouton settings, because there's a lot of stuff here. It would be impossible for me to cover all of it. But here's the service body parameter. There's a bunch of drop downs here. So you can see service body 2, 3, 4. So what I need 1001 and 1067. So we can just add that, and there it is, right? So if I update, now if I refresh the page here, we could see that we have all of those meetings from those two areas. So we still have a problem here, right? Because if people want to see what area that meeting is from, they can't. Or what if they want to search for all the meetings in a certain area? We can do that too. So let's go back to these, go back to all these menus here, and let's open up drop downs. Now this will let you hide or show any drop down that you see up there, and areas doesn't show up by default. Okay, so leaving it as 0 removes it, leaving it as 1 adds it. So we're going to just say has areas equals 1. So that should add the area filter to the list. So now let's just refresh this, and if everything went right, we have areas. So we can see Suffolk, we can see Heart of Long Island. And now they're both there, and you could choose from that drop down whichever areas. And of course, for us actually, we have to include about 5 areas on our display. So another thing that you can do, you can show group count and meeting count. So maybe we want to say just how many groups and meetings are in our area. So now we can add something like that right at the top. So now we add that group count shortcode and the meeting count shortcode, and that will show us just how many groups and meetings are are in the area. So now let's just refresh the page and we'll see how that works. We have 70 groups with 76 meetings, and now we have the whole meeting list, and there's a whole lot more that you could do. Okay, because what you can also do is a lot of the short codes that you see, for example, the service body parameter, you can add the service body parameter to the meeting count and the group count codes as well. So again, very customizable. Another thing we can look at is the map search option. So this is the Crouton map shortcode, and we'll just we can actually get rid of this. And so we could do the service body thing with that too, but we're not going to. So now we're actually gonna replace it with a map, and you can set a default location, but I'm just gonna say near me, and it's gonna ask to see your location, and then sure enough, here's some nearby meetings. Okay, and if we zoom in, it's gonna get more granular with the search results. Okay, and then of course it still gives you that tabbed interface, and it's going to show you lots of stuff. You could set distance parameters, you could do all kinds of things with this, and then there's your map search. So another thing that we can do, we can actually change the format of the meetings that we're going to see. So usually what we're going to see in that interface, we see the meeting name, location text, meeting address, location information. So now what if we want to add something else? Well, there's a whole bunch of fields that you can add if we just pull up this page. Now, obviously that's a lot to take in right there, but we're going to take service body, and that should be the service body ID. So now we just added this .service body big int. We're going to save it, and I will go back, and sure enough, that should work. Now see, that shows the service body. So that's 1001, that's Suffolk area, and then we have 1067, that's Heart of Long Island area. And so that's obviously I wouldn't leave that there with just the ID, but that's one way that you can just add different fields, and you can customize it. You could change it so that the town is above the name of the of the meeting, or whatever you want to do. So the last thing that I'm going to show you is that you can change the theme. These themes are named after people. So let's go with the Lucy theme, and sure enough, we've got a different theme. We're just going to have to pull up and see different colors and stuff. And that's Crouton. So like I said, it's a very powerful tool, and it's very customizable. Like I said, you can change the order or the different fields of the information that's populated, the kinds of information that's populated, the different drop-down lists. You can see that areas still isn't up here because when I changed it to a map, I didn't add the area field. So that's Crouton, and that's about it. Again, last thing, I just encourage you to explore these various drop-down menus here, because there's a lot of stuff there, and there's a lot of customization options that you can choose to use with your Crouton implementation.